welcome to ProSaintsTalk. I'm your host, Redneck Riviera Ron. On the line with us, we have Boogie and our main man, George. And, look, it's grim, it's sad, it's gloom getting on the podcast this week for week 2. Coming off of just complete gut punch.
It's pathetic.
Game. I don't know what the heck happened last weekend. Hopefully it was a lot better in the stands than it was on the couch for y'all. But Boogie, let's kick it off with the Marcus Davin report, the Davin bust report. I thought he had a few quick steps and a few quick moves. I mean, he chased down a run play from the back side. He got that quarterback hit that ended up being a penalty, but what'd you see? And then let's just go right into it. What'd you see from the defense overall?
Well, dude, let me start with this. Sunday was my fucking nightmare of Saints' awful defenses, all the flashbacks. And, dude, I think I'm more mad at this game than I was at the Minnesota game. Minnesota, I was sad. This game, I was just mad. Just from all off season to prepare for the one game, all the hype, prove us wrong, and then it's just huge letdown. But let's get to my boy Davin Bust. Davin Bust had that one play, and you keep seeing it over and over on Twitter. So it's like fake news. It's like he had like one good play, and then he almost picked that ball. Remember, Georgie, we saw that. That would have been awesome. Probably would have won the game.
That's true.
And then I just think he was getting tossed around. I think he sort of blew it on the last 3rd and 13 play. Looks like George and I were talking about he like stunted with Onimata, whatever his name is, and just blew the play. I don't know, man. And then it's pretty frustrating. You see Roquan Smith and Bradley Chubb killing it, and we gave 2 first-round draft picks for this dude who's, barely making it, just running. Dude, he's like Kiki, man. Just like running around the field. It's a joke, man. And then, he's running around, they get the whole secondary running around. The media hyped up Marcus Williams all off season. Remember the little battle between Underhill and, we're not going to ask Marcus Williams, and dude, he blew a bunch of coverages. I don't know, man. It just sucked all the way around. Just sucked. So.
Davenport had his moments for sure. You can almost blame Sean Payton more than Davin Bust on that 4th down and for a lot of the action that gives. He should have been in the game. He's not ready yet. I mean, he's got the talent. Like, he almost picked off that pass. We almost went bananas. Like, he shows bursts of talent, but he's not there yet. So why is he on the field on the most important possession of the game? That's more of a question for the coaches than the guy himself. And you can't just fault Davin Bust here. Name one defender who played well. Name one. T-Rob maybe? No. No one played well. The corners were awful. Crowley had a Vikings-esque game. Lattimore had his worst game in his career. Williams was a step slow. Both strong safeties looked rough. Bell almost had a turnover, but they recovered it. There was no pressure on the whole D-line. Cam Jordan, our Drew Brees of defense, we didn't see him do anything all game. The DTs, it's like their running back got 7 yards down the field before we even had a linebacker make a play on the ball. Speaking of linebackers, name one that did anything. Demario Davis, I've been hyping up all offseason saying he's going to be our Jonathan Vilma Jet savior linebacker. No, he didn't do a damn thing. Junkyard Dog was nowhere to be seen. Where's Craig Robertson? Put him back in for the Browns game versus his former team. Get Anzalone out of there. Put Demario Davis at middle linebacker where he's been a great stud for the Jets the previous seasons, where he's more comfortable, and put Robertson and Teo next to him. These guys got no credit last year. They were fantastic linebackers. I'm not using that word liberally. They were great last year for us on run support. And we got gashed by Peyton Barber and just these Buccaneer no-name running backs. The defense just needed to have a heartbeat to win this game. Because think about, we had the opening drive in 5 plays, we scored a touchdown. Had you told me that we're going to lose that game, I would have laughed at you. You could have told me I was sitting next to DJ Jubilee. Like, there's no way. I thought we were about to roll on them when we went up with that first touchdown on 5 plays. And it's just the whole defense. And the question's going to become, is this who we are again? Have we seen this movie before? Is this the same old Sean Payton team of his offense being fantastic and his defense being atrocious? Is that replaying itself again? And then when is Sean Payton really going to be held to the fire for this? How many more times can we keep doing this?
We're about to do it again.
Yeah.
Buckle up. This is his shitty-ass defense team, man. He never can fix it. Once every 4 years. I'm telling you, man. We've all seen this movie before.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of fixing it, I mean, just a couple observations from me watching it on TV. Definitely no pressure whatsoever. I think on like Fitzpatrick's 40 dropbacks, we hit him twice, and they were both penalties. That third down play at the end of the game, yeah, you're right. They did a stunt, and Onya had contained, and you just have to assume that DT, I guess, doesn't normally play contain, and didn't think that Fitzpatrick was going to get outside of him, and that ended up costing us one more shot at it. But linebackers, Anzalone, I feel like can't shed a block. I feel like, yeah, he's quick, he can hit a gap, but he cannot shed a block. And Demario Davis wasn't really shedding them either early on. He had one tackle, I think, for a loss, but that's why they were gashing us. And I agree with you, George. Te'o and the junkyard dog, Craig Robertson, I
bring them back.
Those dudes stuff runs. I mean, they don't take anything. I mean, they don't give up anything. They may not have helped us any in coverage, but heck, nobody was helping us in coverage. And I just didn't understand the game plan from Dennis Allen. You're going up against a team with Mike Evans and Deshaun Jackson. I don't care who's back. They got a couple plays in the repertoire and their fade routes. All right. And I just didn't understand why we were playing single high safety. Like we were going back to the Jarris Bird days or something like that, man.
I made that comparison at the game, Ron. That's a great comparison.
Yeah, it's too much field to cover for one guy, and you would think they would make an adjustment after the first time, after the second time, after the third time they got burned. But no, they come out of half and they're still the same scheme. I don't know if Von Bell was just not even being asked to go deep safety, or if that's just a blown assignment or what. But once you see that Crawley and Lattimore just getting burned play after play after play, it's like the mad science, dude. You don't keep doing the same thing expecting different results. So that really frustrated me from a coaching perspective. And yeah, Peyton made his classic statement at the end of the game that I've heard him say too many times when we had all those rough defenses. Oh yeah, it's on the coaches. Yeah, we got to look at what we're asking them to do and who we're asking to do it. Oh yeah. Like, really? You couldn't have done that at halftime? Jesus, man.
All off season, dude. All off season. They're like, oh yeah, we needed better technique. Yeah, well no shit. Like, what have you been doing the last couple months since the last game of the season when Marcus Williams blew the tackle to get into the NFC Championship with poor technique? Come on, man.
We're getting no pressure this weekend. We didn't last weekend. We didn't do anything. We didn't readjust or do any new blitzes. And like Ryan just said, it's absolutely correct. We made no adjustments. At halftime, you're like, okay, guys, I hope y'all figured this out. Nothing really changed until the fourth quarter when we finally put at least one stop and got a punt out there and then a missed field goal. But we didn't change anything. It was just bizarre to not see any adjustments go on. And at some point, Sean Payton has to put this on himself. He can't just say the offense was good. I got to talk to defense about how the defense played. No, man. This is your team, and you can't love one and ignore the defense. You have to embrace the whole part, and it seems to be rearing its ugly head again. Is it a wake up call? It could potentially just be one big wake up call, where we come out versus the Browns and we light them up, and that was all because the Buccaneers reminded us how to play football again. But if we're playing the Browns week 2 and it's a close game, or God forbid, they're up on us, then we're knowing that this is who we're going to be yet again. And it's demoralizing a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to go down as Peyton's legacy if we don't right this ship. I mean, he's just going to, like you said, he's going to be this guy that just like always turns a blind eye to the defense and assumes that his DC is going to always take care of it. And when it doesn't, oh, well, I guess I'll just go get a new defensive coordinator. And yeah, it's like we catch flash in the pan, for a season here, and then we can't maintain anything. We can't build a foundation for a good defense. I don't know. Yeah, I hope we were all freaking out over one game, and like we said, we got a great example last year up in Minnesota that torched. I mean, it felt like a very similar game where I mean, we couldn't cover a single person, all kinds of blown coverages. And then, hey, you got screwed coming home to play the Patriots, and they just totally confused our secondary. We had no confidence even going into that game. So, yeah, totally, we have the template for how to recover from this, but, yeah, it was depressing for me that I had to welcome my firstborn son into his first game of Saints fanhood to that shit.
John Robert will never forgive Sean Payton for
Welcome.
But I guess the only saving grace was I was like, well, if he's going to be a true Saints fan, I guess this is the way he's got to come in.
A loss. Yeah, he's coming in the Sean Payton, Drew Brees era. We came in the 80s and the early 90s, and he's coming into the golden age, maybe the end of it. We should be thankful for the era. He got to miss the Billy Joe turnover days, the Ricky Williams in a wedding dress days, the Ditka days. He's coming in maybe at the beginning of the Bridgewater era, but it's a good time to be a Saints fan nonetheless.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, He'll enjoy it when I tell him about it.
Oh yeah. Getting back to Peyton, what's so frustrating is the whole off season. With the defense and the prove them right, how do you come out so flat week 1 with all these expectations? And that you've done this before with previous teams with all the hype and get your ass kicked the first week, like in 2014. They weren't even close. It's not even like they played remotely well on defense.
So starting the year off slow has turned into another one of Sean Payton's critiques, is that he's so cocky all summer long, building the guys' egos up just to get dismantled early in the season. I mean, we're always a better second half season team. We always start off the gate slow. Sean Payton needs to look back at the recipe of what he's doing over the summers and reprogram it, because it's not working in that first 4 games.
Yeah.
And guys, our schedule, this is our easy stretch. And we just come up with a loss versus the Bucs.
Yeah, all this 12-4 and 13-3, that's a bunch of bullshit at this point. I mean, you just lost
went out the door.
Bucs. Yeah, that all went out the door. I mean, you're playing Minnesota, Philly, the Rams, Atlanta twice, and you lose the Bucs week 1. No, man, it's just a huge setback.
Well, let me pose
lining
this one
up
question.
perfectly for epic collapse.
Let me pose this question, because maybe this loss won't be so bad. I'm just throwing this out there. The Buccaneers might not be so bad, and I know we really trashed them a week ago. Maybe they go 2-1. The coach continues to go with Fitzmagic. He's got weapons. He's got good defense. They lost Hargrave for the rest of the year, but their defense isn't so bad. Is it unrealistic, one, for them to be a 10-6 team and this loss be not that bad, and 2, that Fitzmagic is the one that leads them to the postseason promised land, not Winston?
I mean, it's not that out of the question just because of NFL schedule, right? They pair them up against, they'll play all of the last place teams from the division. So yeah, I mean, I guess they'll have the easier path. I don't know about them making the playoffs and all that stuff, but one saving grace was if this lets Dirk Cutter keep his job for another year, I think that's a positive for Saints fans. I still don't think that guy's that good of a coach.
You're saying that because of the fight last year. And we lost.
No, I'm saying that because
he never has control of his team, it feels like. Especially when Winston's at the helm. And let me just say this.
Winston would beat us. Hey, if Winston was quarterbacking, there's no way that he plays.
Yeah, agreed. If the Buccaneers
man. Look, Fitzpatrick put some throws on the money, but dude, those receivers were wide open.
They were wide.
The running game was wide open.
Yeah. You and I could have made some of those throws.
Like, to quote Bart Scott, we couldn't stop a nosebleed.
If you're the head coach of the Bucs, and you're preaching to your young guys on doing things the right way, on and off the field, put the extra work in, and we'll give you the results. You show us the results, and we'll give you more playing time. And then you're trying to teach them all the right principles on being a good player, and yet you have this guy, Fitzmagic, doing everything right. Winning, doing things right off the field, and then you have Winston suspended for groping an Uber driver. How can those young players give you any credibility if you put Winston back at the starting position? I think from this moment on, after week 1, this is Fitzpatrick's job to lose. I know they go against the Eagles this weekend, and that's a tough game, but we might be watching Fitzmagic run the show at least until the end of this year.
Well, all right. We can break all that down when we play the Bucs again, but for right now, DGAF about the rest of the Bucs season. Because it's ProSaintsTalk, not ProBucsTalk. Let's talk about one highlight from week 1. How much Dixie was flowing when clickbait was in there for the first score.
I lost my mind.
It was awesome. And at that point, you thought we were going to.
Did y'all notice it right away?
Oh, heck
yeah! Yeah, hell yeah, man, hell yeah.
That was in our end zone.
Yeah, it's right in our end zone. And at that point, Ron, we were just drove into the field. It's like, oh my God, the offense looked like 2011. We're gonna be awesome. You know, we're gonna kick these guys' ass. And then it just,
went downhill from there.
That would have been such a fun play if we would have won the game. But
yeah, had we gotten that ball back, we would have tied it. On that 3rd and 12 that Fitzmagic ran for the first down, had they punted, the offense was unstoppable and so in sync, and Mike Thomas was getting so open and making such great plays. We were about to tie it again. Probably another Kamara touchdown, to be honest.
Yeah.
Dude, did your mind just instantly start flash forwarding
Redskins
to all the potential plays not just that, but specifically with clickbait, to all the potential plays that Peyton's drawn up for him?
Oh, we know he's got shit up his sleeve. He unveiled stuff in the preseason where you need to be vanilla. And he was doing trick plays with Hill in the preseason. You know more is coming.
No, yeah. Peyton just got real cocky at the beginning, and then he started, he couldn't.
No, but I think it's exciting because it could be an additional red zone weapon for us. I mean, we definitely could use one.
Yeah, especially in the Mark Ingram-less era.
Yeah. I think we missed Ingram just controlling the ball.
I mean, our offense didn't miss anything. Our offense was on point. Our offense, aside from 2 turnovers, couldn't have played any better.
It felt like that Redskins game where you just thought, holy crap, Breeze is going to freaking put this team on his back and win this game.
How good was Breeze? Breeze was masterful.
He looked better
than maestro. He was so pinpoint. Some people are saying that he didn't throw any good deep balls. I don't care. He was throwing the ball on a rope so accurately all game. It was great to see that him being that great again at his age.
Yeah, but how's this for a concern though?
But it's all a waste.
I mean,
all of this is a waste because the defense sucks. It's all a waste.
Well, yeah. Okay, let's get past that. I just want to highlight. I mean, it was great to see Breeze like that, and he's got some great weapons. But damn, we got to diversify. I mean, look, the flow of that game dictated it. But man, Mike Thomas, 16 catches. That means he got hit 16 times. Kamara, how many touches did he have in that game? I mean, we started to really put some mileage on him in that game, and I got to be really concerned because I'm like, man, it's a freaking 17 weeks.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's just that particular game and the way it was flowing. But, I mean, yeah, you got to get Jonathan Williams going. I mean, if Gillislee is getting cut this week, I don't know, he hasn't gotten cut yet, but he's definitely in the doghouse. He's going to need some relief, man. He's going to need some relief.
You know who could be that guy?
Put him back in the game. They put him back in. I thought he wouldn't see the ball.
Yeah, one
he
more
wouldn't
carry.
see the ball again. Yeah.
You know who could be that guy?
Yeah, I mean,
Traquan Smith for wide receivers, diversify the wideouts.
Yeah.
Hagan Jr. missed practice today. I think Austin Carr is a short Band-Aid replacement, not your long-term guy. Meredith, I don't know when we're going to see him again or what we can really expect out of him the first quarter of the year. Not overly optimistic for him to make a big impact, at least early on. Therefore, that leaves Traquan Smith as your guy. He got in here and there. I think he played about 15 plays. I'd like to see more of him. He was great in the preseason. Yeah, Carr played a lot. He caught his two targets. He looked okay. Sean Payton made a shout out to him today about his run blocking. I don't think he's the playmaker that Traquan Smith is. I don't think he's going to really scare defenses. We might have Deshaun Jackson light in Traquan Smith that we're not completely utilizing yet.
Right. They tried to go to Traquan that play. I think it was the first quarter of Georgie. Remember we saw it, Breeze was looking
the first incompletion? Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But
and I know we just kind of touched on it, but I mean, we've gone 20 minutes in this podcast and we really didn't talk about how damn good Alvin Kamara is. I mean, not like we had any concern going into this year about a sophomore slump, or at least I didn't. But damn, it was just like you almost forgot how elusive that guy is. I mean, some of the moves he was putting on guys, it's like we talked about last year, George, where he's just so elusive, he never really gets a hard hit on him. And that is going to help his mileage for the year, but still, man, he was just ridiculous.
Think about Lattimore.
Yeah, I was about to make
Dude,
that point.
what happened to Lattimore? What are they calling him on Twitter, Ron? What'd you say?
Lattimore.
Yeah, man, he got. I think Fitzmagic was like 7 for 7. I mean, dude, it was so odd. And that's the thing, man. If Lattimore has a slump, dude, that isn't good, man. We need him to be on his A game. But I don't know.
Yeah, he sets the tone for that secondary. I mean, they all feed off of him. Dude, how many times did we see those damn Pro Football Focus scores on him all last year?
90.
Didn't see anything this week on him. Probably
hell
freaking
no.
single digit.
It'd be a 0. He had 7
targets,
7 receptions. Complete everything they threw at him. You really couldn't do much worse. And Crowley was equally bad.
Dude, it was awful. All right, so who's Lattimore going to go up against this week? Dude, against the Browns, because he's probably going to get burned again the way they play.
Friggin' Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon.
Landry's going to be in the slot. That's going to be on P-Rob.
Jeez, dude.
You know, I don't know if y'all were able to watch any of we're the Dome, so couldn't watch the Browns game live, but I watched a lot of those extended highlights. Tyrod never threw the ball downfield. He dipped and dove. Like, he only threw little dink passes.
Don't say that, because this week
that's what he did week 1 versus the Steelers. And that is not what that offense is made for. With Gordon and Juice, it'd be a lot scarier if they had Baker Mayfield gunning the ball around the field with those big weapons. The fact that Tyrod's in might be beneficial to us, because he's not the guy gunslinging down the field with those weapons, exposing our corners.
Dude, don't say it.
All right, so yeah, good
you know it will happen.
George. So yeah,
perfect situation for the Browns to come in and beat us. I'm terrified. I'm telling you, they're gonna light it up on us. They're gonna light it up on us.
I mean, they do have a terrible. I mean, they have a great history. Terrible history with the Browns lately.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like 99, the Hail Mary to Dennis Northcutt, I think. Tim Couch's like first win and maybe only win for all I know. God, that was terrible. So yeah, I mean, they've got some really good history against us. And yeah, the matchup doesn't look great after our week 1 performance. You're like, dang, dude, they got some weapons that could burn us. So, I don't know. We'll see, man. What do you think, Joe, about these Browns coming in?
Dude, I think it's set up for epic failure. I just think they're going to come in and they're going to beat us. That's what I think. Until the defense shows me that they can stop anything, I'm predicting them to lose. Because I've seen this movie before. We've seen it. We've only seen, 4 good defenses out of 13 years with Peyton? So what makes me to believe that Peyton's going to turn it around this game when he can't even turn it around week 1 after a whole entire offseason, after they lost the Vikings game because of the defense? So, dude, I think they're going to come in. I think they're going to, it may be close, but they're going to beat us. And it's going to suck.
You know what's going to happen? Or the Browns are going to come in and they're going to actually score 7 or 10 points in the first quarter, and they might even be up in the first quarter. And then Boogie's going to have a huge freaking meltdown, and then the Saints are going to go out and roll. I think they're going to come out early on us, the Browns are, and surprise us, make an early turnover, and everyone might be like, what the heck? Like, we really might actually stink. And then we'll go ahead and turn off the Jets, go up 24-31-10 on them, get some late turnovers, and put an exclamation mark on the win.
I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right.
And now is a quick word from our sponsor. Hey Rons, are you looking to replace the television screens and video games for a wholesome family day of fun? Well, look no further than the exciting and well-shaded Jazzland in New Orleans East. Take I-10 and go the other way for 37 minutes until you see the lovely rows of dead palm trees. And then you'll know you arrived to a magical afternoon of dehydration and disappointment. Again, that's Jazzland in New Orleans East. See you there.
And another great thing about week 1 and now week 2 is that we're both at home, and it gives us another chance to go underneath the overpass. We had quite the crowd last week with about 20 of us Rons out there, probably the only guys listening to this podcast. And we appreciate all of y'all's constructive criticism while we were out there. This week I'll be with Ron going to the game. First time we're going to get out there under the overpass.
What's your prediction for the game, Ron?
I think obviously the offense is going to show up. Who knows what the freaking defense is going to do? But I don't have all the confidence in Tyrod Taylor, so I honestly think they're going to come out and hold the Browns for under 20 points. You heard it here first.
Yep.
Offense is going to score over 30.
I agree.
If that happens, if Tony Ball's listening, if that happens, dinner is on me over at 3B's, brah. If the Saints win and hold them on, I don't care. If the Saints win, 3B's burgers on me. I don't care if it's under 20 points. I just don't see it happening. I don't see it happening.
Ron, give us our Army report for this upcoming weekend's opponent.
Yeah, so Army, huge win this past weekend. Man, like we said, we thought they were going to have a little trouble with Liberty. Not at all, man. They came out and rolled in the home opener, so that was exciting to see. And they got a home matchup again, Hawaii, making the long trip, but I guess it's long every game for them. But they're going freaking halfway around the globe, it seems, coming from freaking the Pacific over to West Point. Got the Rainbow Warriors coming in. They're 3-0. I think it's going to be a real tough matchup, but they got Army favorited by almost a touchdown. And I think, like we talked about last week, I think Monken's got that intensity level back up and got them refocused. Hopefully the Saints can channel the same kind of energy. So, yeah, there's your Army report for the week. Shout out New Yorker.
All right, I said last week that Army was going to win by 24. Army won by 24. And this week I talked to Miss Cleo, and we looked at the crystal ball, and both the Saints and Army will win by 17.
I hope so.
All right, guys, that's all we got for this episode, and we thank you for listening. We had a great turnout last week under the overpass. We had over 25 Rons out there, including our sound man, Andrew. So, Ron, take us out.
We out, y'all.
This podcast dream would only be a dream if not for Andrew Simmons behind the ones and twos doing the hard part. So a big shout out to our sound engineer, Andrew Simmons.